Hi, my name's gwEm and welcome back to my YouTube channel, the gwEmbassy. So the last video was a jam using the Roland SH-32 synth module and a MAM SQ16 sequencer. These are pretty unusual bits of equipment and they're not very popular, so I thought it would be cool to do a jam with them and show how powerful they really are. This video is clearly going to be an explanation about how that jam went down, so let's get stuck into it. So the jam just really used two main pieces of equipment, which is this MAM sequencer and this Roland SH-32 sound module. Also, it used Alesis Nanocompressor, which features very often in my videos, and I didn't really need the Mackie mixer because the SH-32 only has a single stereo out. I could have got direct into the compressor, but it makes it a bit easier to do this voiceover with the mixer, of course. So MAM these days, it only really seems like they make this little 303 sound module, but in earlier years they made quite a lot of cool stuff. They're a German company. They made drum sound modules and funny little synths and stuff. This thing is a step sequencer. It looks like a groove box or a drum machine. And it kind of is those things, but it doesn't have any built-in sounds. You can only sequence external sounds. So it has a MIDI input and output, and it has a DIN sync 24 output as well for syncing to a 303 or a drum machine or what have you. The first instruments from 1 to 13 are just individual drum sounds. They play a single MIDI note, and in this case I've got it triggering sounds on the SH-32. And the last three instruments, 14, 15 and 16, are monophonic note channels, and they've got a 303 style sequencer. Let's go through the sounds and I'll comment on them. So the first one is, of course, a kick drum. Then we've got a snare. Plenty of reverb on the snare. In fact, there's reverb now on all the instruments, only the kick drum doesn't have it. Closed hi-hat. Open hi-hat. Claps. Ride cymbal. And I've got a high Q sound on the 7th instrument. As I said, the top three instruments are able to play proper notes. So the first one is an acid bass line. The second one is the strings. And the 16th sound is the kind of trancey sounding stab. The mode that it's in at the moment is the instrument note on off. So I'm basically muting and unmuting the sounds. There's a lot of other modes that you can go into. I'll probably do a video explaining just the sequencer because it's very deep. But nearly every single function you can go into without needing to stop the sequencer, so it's very powerful for jamming. Now this thing is a little bit of an oddity. It doesn't seem to be very popular on the second-hand market. I've had this now for a couple of years, but I haven't really got into using it as it really should be. So it is a combination of a Rompler and a virtual analog synth. So the oscillators are all sampled. So that is the Rompler section. And then the waveforms get passed into a virtual analog section of filters, envelopes, and LFOs, which is virtual analog. It has two effects modules. One which is a reverb and delay module. You've got an insert effect, which in my case I've got set to a chorus. So this thing is actually a multi-timbral synth. You can play 4 instruments at once, and that can be either 4 synth sounds or 3 synth sounds and 1 drum kit. So clearly I've got the second option of having 3 synth sounds and 1 drum kit. Let me just press this preview button, and then these notes become a little keyboard, and I can play them. So that's the acid bass that I've just been messing around with. Here is the string sound, and that's playing parallel minor chords, because this thing has a chord memory function. Normally the MAM can't sequence chords, it's only got 3 monophonic channels, but because of the chord memory I could have chords. The third channel is that kind of trancey sound, which is made up of a couple of super saw oscillators here. Now this thing does have a super saw waveform, but it's not quite as rich sounding as the JP8000. In fact, I would say the JP8000 definitely sounds better than this. But the SH-32 has a number of advantages over the JP8000. It's got a lot more notes of polyphony, and furthermore it has 4 multi-timbral parts instead of just 2, and it is smaller, and it has the drum sounds in, and it has more effect types, and it's cheaper. But if you just take one voice, I don't think it does sound as good, but it's got a whole bunch of other stuff that's very cool. Let's quickly go into the drum sounds. There, this thing has a lot of drum sounds, and they're not just samples either. You can actually tweak the drum sounds using the filters. Which is incredibly powerful, and you can really fine-tune those drum sounds. So finally is the Nano Compressor. So I'll run the sequences with and without the compressor so you can hear the difference. So I'll start with the compressor first. So that's with the compressor, and now I'll do without. And it's definitely missing something when I remove the compressor. So now I'll toggle it on and off while it's playing, and you can hear the difference. There we go. Well, I hope that was interesting. 2 strange bits of gear which I think are pretty good. If you'd like to see more of the MAM SQ16 or the Roland SH-32, write something in the comments and I'm sure I can cook something up. Thanks a lot for watching. Consider liking the video, maybe even subscribing. I've reached that 1K subscriber mark now, but it's always nice to grow my audience. Thanks a lot, take care, and I hope to see you in another video soon.